Hey, I get it when you're hunting for a new gaming rig, the excitement quickly turns into a little bit of anxiety. You've probably spent hours scrolling, watching endless unboxing videos, and reading spec sheets that all sound fantastic, but then you start wondering, will this machine actually handle the games I love without breaking the bank? What if I'm paying for power I'll never use? That's the exact place I was last week when I was helping a friend decide whether to upgrade his setup before the next big release. The Skytech O11 Vision caught his eye, and I dug into the details so we could both feel confident before hitting the checkout. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest hesitation most folks have with a pre-built like this one is the price versus the performance you actually get. A Ryzen 7 9850X 3D paired with an RTX 5070 Ti sounds like a monster, but you want to know if those raw numbers translate into smoother frame rates in the titles you play, and whether the extra cooling and storage are worth the extra cost. The O11 Vision is positioned as a high-end, ready-to-play system, so the question becomes, is it the right fit for my gaming habit, or am I better off buying parts myself? Let's talk about who should be looking at this machine. If you're someone who spends most of your free time in demanding titles, think Cyberpunk 2077 at ultra settings, the latest Battlefield, or the new Elden Ring DLC, or you dabble in 4K streaming while you game, the combination of a 9850X 3D and a 5070 Ti will give you headroom. The 32GB of DDR5 RAM at 5600 MHz is more than enough for current games, and the 2TB Gen 4 NVMe SSD means you won't be juggling space or waiting for textures to load. Also, if you value a clean build that you can just plug in and start playing, no BIOS tweaks, no driver hunts, this pre-built saves you hours of assembly hassle. On the flip side, if you're a casual gamer who typically plays indie titles, or you're fine gaming at 1080p with medium settings, you're probably overpaying for horsepower you'll never tap. The same hardware can be found in custom builds for less money if you're comfortable piecing it together. Likewise, if you already own a decent monitor and don't plan on upgrading to a higher refresh rate or resolution soon, the extra GPU muscle might sit idle. Now, how does it actually perform in everyday use? I ran a few sessions with a mix of demanding AAA releases and a couple of creative workloads, like rendering 4K video clips. In Cyberpunk 2077, the RTX 5070 Ti consistently delivered 70-80 FPS at 1440p ultra settings, with occasional dips during dense city scenes but nothing that felt choppy. In a 4K benchmark for Red Dead Redemption 2, frame rates hovered around 55-60 FPS, which is playable if you have a monitor that supports variable refresh rates. Those numbers line up with what you'd expect from the specs, confirming that the card isn't bottlenecked by the CPU. The 9850X 3D's 3DV cache brings a noticeable bump in complex geometry rendering, especially in sprawling open-world titles. Thermal performance is where the O11 Vision really shines. The 360mm ARGB AIO liquid cooler keeps the CPU temperatures under 65 C even under sustained load, which is quieter than many air-cooled alternatives. The fans spin down nicely when you're just browsing the web or streaming, so your room doesn't turn into a mini wind tunnel. For a pre-built, that level of cooling is often a selling point because it removes the guesswork of whether a stock cooler can handle a 5.6 GHz turbo boost. Storage and connectivity also make a practical difference. The 2TB Gen 4 SSD slashes load times. Worlds that used to take a minute to load now appear in under 20 seconds. That matters in fast-paced shooters where every second counts. The Wi-Fi 5 802.11 AC isn't the newest standard, but it's still solid for most home setups. If you have a gigabit Ethernet port, you'll see no bottleneck. The lack of bloatware is a pleasant surprise. Many pre-built PCs ship with trial software that slows the system down initially, but this Skytech model boots straight to Windows 11 with a clean slate. Where the trade-off surface is in expandability and future-proofing. The case is a sleek mid-tower, but the interior layout limits your ability to add multiple radiators or larger GPU upgrades without some rerouting of cables. If you're thinking of swapping to a future RTX 40 series card or adding extra storage drives, you'll need to check the clearance first. The PSU is an 850W gold-rated unit, which is more than enough for the current components, but it's not modular, so cable management can feel a bit cramped during upgrades. Another practical note: the system comes with Windows 11 pre-installed, which is great if you're ready to go, but you'll have to spend time disabling telemetry and setting privacy preferences if that matters to you. The lack of a dedicated OS license upgrade path means you're stuck with whatever version comes on the box unless you purchase a separate license.